Hey, this is Linda with the Life Station Express, the relay station. We bring the news to you. And the news that I share on this channel is mostly about my faith and my health journey. So I'll just go ahead and I just wanted to make a quick video and share a little bit about my health journey. This is not about the faith journey. But there are other videos on my channel, Life Station Express on YouTube, if you want to watch about my faith journey. Currently, I'm studying two subjects too, hell, interestingly enough, and are we living in Revelation 20, verse 7, Satan's little season, the eschatology of where are we now, and sometimes who are we? It's been extremely interesting. So those are the two subjects that I'm working on for my faith journey. Now this video is about my health journey. So if you followed me, you know that 5 years ago I had a stroke. It wasn't horrible, but it did affect my face and my hand and my elbow, and my speech some. And still, if I talk too fast, my words won't come out specifically very clear. It's interesting too, because if I get really cold, it just doesn't want to work. I don't know what that's all about. I haven't looked that up, but if I get chilly, during the winter, sometimes you're outside and you just get a little chilly. My mouth just doesn't want to work, and I don't know. I can talk. It's not that I can't, but it's just different. I think I still have a little bit of paralyzation back in my throat and on this side of my face, mostly just my mouth. But anyway, I'm doing fine. It's that is neither here nor there. It's been quite the journey though. And when I started researching after that was 5.5 years ago. It'll be 6 years in July. It was 2019. And after I did some research, I found out that what the standard American diet has done for me is keep me unhealthy. Even though I'm a thin person, it doesn't mean you're not healthy. So, you can't go by somebody being thin or overweight to see how healthy their body is, because there are all kinds of little things that can go along with our well-being, So anyway, I did the research and found out that if I moved my eating habits, I guess I would say the way I eat, over into a ketogenic lifestyle, then I would be on the road to healing my body, or stopping anything else from hindering my body, I guess you would say. And I discovered that it's not so much what you add to your diet, it's more what you don't have in your diet. So while I added some supplements, and I'll talk about that in a second, when you decide that there are certain things that your body just should not have in it, which is carbohydrates, sugar, seed oils, these things. I think everybody knows that by now. If you don't know that by now, where have you been? Anyway, so I changed a lot of the way I ate. I lost a few pounds. I didn't really need to lose weight. That's not why I did it, but I did, around the middle, a couple pounds came off. And now I'm maintaining a proper weight for my body style, my body. So anyway, I also added, now I'll talk about the supplement, and I've talked about this before, but I wanted to say something new. So I added the supplement nattokinase, and if you don't know what that is, you can look that up, and I'll put the name in the description of this video. Nattokinase is an enzyme, and it comes from a fermented food that they prepare over in the Orient, mostly in Japan. So they've discovered that when you ferment soybeans, which, in any other way, you should not eat soy. It's not good for you. But if you ferment soybeans and make this delicacy called natto, it makes this enzyme that, as it's consumed, it is a natural blood thinner and clot dissolver. Now, to say blood thinner, I don't know if that's totally accurate. I've put up a couple videos by doctors that talk about it, and they will share that it is I guess the only word I can think of is blood thinner. But anyway, it is natural, and there's no side effects. You really can't overdose on it. So what I've been doing is taking nattokinase in capsule form. It's in the little It's powdered. It's like a powder, and it's in the little capsule thing. Like if you pulled it apart, you could shake the powder out. Anyway, it's a little pricey for me. Richard and I both take it because he has circulatory issues as well, being diabetic. So we've both been taking it for a while. And we found a really, really good brand. It's called Doctor's Nutrition, and we buy it from them. And those are two. It's a married couple who are natural doctors, and they have a really good YouTube channel. I've posted about them before. But anyway, so I'd been taking the nattokinase over the years, and every year I get a Doppler test of my carotid arteries. And just to try to make a long story short, this is the right one, was 100% occluded, and that's where something came off and went to my brain and gave me that small stroke. And the left one was less than 50% occluded. So they don't do any intervention or anything if your carotid arteries are less than 50% occluded, which means plaque buildup. So anyway, after taking the nattokinase, they did the Doppler tests and actually found out that my body was clearing, the carotid arteries were clearing, and the tests would show that both sides, after that, like the next year it showed that both sides were less than 50% occluded, which is great. They don't do anything for that. So anyway, they also discovered, I think it was last year when I had this done, that my right carotid artery has actually developed another outlet, another vein, so to speak. And that's actually where my blood is going. So it's not, the artery it says on the Doppler test, it is less than 50% occluded. So that means the plaque is leaving, plus my body, thanks to God and the way he makes our bodies, has regenerated this extra vein that is working to keep my blood flow going to this side of my brain. So anyway, last fall, when I had my yearly Doppler test, this side had 70% buildup instead of the less than 50. And I was extremely shocked. And then I remembered, here we go, Linda trying to save money. I was taking my natto dosage down to half, and I shouldn't have done that. And it wasn't working as completely or as much, I guess I would say. It wasn't giving my body enough of the nattokinase enzyme. Kinase means enzyme, I believe. Enough to keep that from becoming occluded. Now, another whole video I can put in about why my arteries needed the plaque to protect injury or damage that had happened to my carotid arteries. My friend just sent me a video about what happens and why your body sends plaque. And people think that is bad cholesterol. It's not a bad thing. Cholesterol heals your places in any of your arteries that are scarred or have nicks in them. It's like it covers that space up. And if there's too many, I guess if there's too much damage, then it's just going to keep building that up. And the plaque comes from that. It can build too much and then break off and go to your brain. Anyway, how nice. Anyway, so I was really devastated that this left carotid artery was filling back up with plaque. And and I'll get to talking it when I finish that, when I get to read that information my friend Robin sent me, I will make another video and explaining how I understand what that means. So anyway, not the end of the story, but here's the next chapter of the story. So once I found out that I was not taking enough of the natto to completely clean that artery out, I went back to 1 in the morning and 1 at night. I don't care how much it costs. I don't want, any more damage. So anyway, my doctor, who's always worked with me really well with this, even though he did want to put me on a statin, I always say no. But anyway, he agreed to, and my insurance agreed that I could have another Doppler test in 6 months rather than a year. So that 6-month Doppler test was just a couple weeks ago. And the results came back that both of my carotid arteries are now less than 50% occluded, which they do nothing for you. That's not bad enough for them to do any surgery or remove any plaque or anything. So I'm back to where I was when I first started this protocol and was seeing the healing come. So I'm back to that spot. And believe me, I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to keep myself and I'm going to keep Richard on nattokinase. So that's a victory. That is a victory. I don't have all the understanding about it. I don't know what that means for the future, but I know right now my blood flow is just fine going from down here, wherever, up through my carotid artery and up through my brain. It's just fine. It's not clogged. It's not, they don't do anything with just less than 50%. They just don't even fool with it. So I just wanted to share that. It's a victory, but it's lesson learned that if you find something that works, don't stop doing it or don't cut it in half like I did just to save money. It's worth my health over money. I will go without food before I go without this enzyme again, and that's just where I'm at. And that's what I've learned. So as I continue to learn, I will continue to make these videos, even if absolutely nobody listens to them. Somebody might come across it at some point and say, hey, I had that situation happen to me too, and I need some help and I need to figure this out. Now, when I started researching almost 6 years ago about arteries and the plaque that gets in people's arteries, it was very serious. My mother had a stroke. My grandmother had one that was really bad. She was left in a wheelchair. And she, lived 9 years, I think around 9 years in that condition. And my mother had also had a stroke, and part of her body, one side of her body, I mean, she could still walk and everything, and she lived alone until she passed away. But still, it wasn't the same. She just couldn't do everything she used to do. And it was very, very frustrating for her. So I want to head this off at the past. So I would say to anyone who has a family history of either heart disease or stroke or circulatory problems, look up nattokinase. There's all kinds of research out there now. You can find it everywhere. But back when I started, no, it was very difficult to find it. And I finally, I just feel like God led me to some information, that was out there initially about nattokinase, and now there's quite a bit more. So anyway, that's a victory, and I'm like, just praise God that victory has occurred. And I need to be watchful. I believe most of us in America anyway, who eat the SAD diet, the standard American diet, which is full of sugar, full of seed oils, full of just ingredients that are terrible. I mean, even I'm really careful too, because I've stayed off of sugar, but I'm very careful about anything that is a sweetener in anything. In the recipes I make, I will use natural stevia, and I'll use a little erythritol. A little of that goes a long way for your digestive system. But, you've got to be really careful. No aspartame. Don't drink a soda with aspartame in it. Don't drink a drink that has aspartame in it. Don't drink a Monster. Don't drink these drinks that have an abundance of caffeine that totally can wreck your circulatory system. That's just Linda talking, not a doctor, not a nurse. This is not medical advice, but this is common sense advice. And I just hope, the people that watch this would get and understand, yes, something bad can happen, but yes, you can do research and you can figure it out and you can make some changes, and the changes are up to you. You get to make those decisions. Nobody else tells you what to do. You get to make those decisions. You get to look for the information. It's out there on the internet. That's one thing, we hate the internet, but we love the internet at the same time. Anyway, this is Linda with the Life Station Express, the relay station, and that's what the news is for today. I'm sitting in my car, and I'll put a picture of the water in front of me, I guess, for the thumbnail, or I may put a picture. Actually, I went to the grocery store, and my phone is being supported by a package of zucchini. They're holding my phone up so I can talk. Anyway, you do what you got to do, right? This is Linda. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.